The O.J. Simpson Trial. June 12, 1994. A quiet, wealthy neighborhood in Los Angeles. Brentwood. The kind of place where nothing ever goes wrong. But that night, something went terribly wrong. 2 bodies lay outside a home, brutally murdered, blood covering the walkway. This wasn't just a crime. This was something far more disturbing, because the investigation would soon point to a man who was not just famous. He was adored, a football legend, a movie star, a household name, O.J. Simpson. What followed wasn't just a trial. It was a media explosion, a cultural war, a legal battle that divided an entire nation. This is the full story. Every detail, every twist, every shocking moment. The rise of a superstar. Before the crime, before the headlines. O.J. Simpson was living the American dream. Born in 1947, he rose from a tough childhood to become one of the greatest football players in history. He dominated the NFL, won the Heisman Trophy, broke records. Fans loved him. But O.J. didn't stop there. He entered Hollywood, appeared in commercials, acted in movies. He became more than an athlete. He became a brand. But behind this perfect image, there was a darker side. His relationship with Nicole Brown Simpson was troubled. There were reports of domestic violence, arguments, police calls. Yet to the public, everything still looked perfect, until one night changed everything. The night of horror. June 12, 1994. Nicole Brown Simpson had just finished dinner with her family. Later that night, she returned home. Somewhere around midnight, something horrific happened. Nicole and her friend Ron Goldman were attacked outside her home. The crime scene was shocking. Nicole had been stabbed multiple times. Her injuries showed signs of extreme violence. Ron Goldman fought back, but he didn't survive. Investigators quickly realized this was personal. This wasn't random. This was rage. And soon, suspicion began to fall on one man, O.J. Simpson. Chapter 3, The Investigation. Begins -10, 00-15. Police began connecting the dots. There was blood at the scene, footprints, a glove, and then a trail leading back to O.J. Simpson. His behavior raised questions. He had a cut on his hand. His alibi was unclear. DNA evidence began linking him to the crime scene. Everything seemed to be pointing in one direction. Police prepared to arrest him. But then, something unbelievable happened. Chapter 4. The White Bronco Chase. 15 o'clock to 20 o'clock. June 17, 1994. O.J. Simpson was supposed to surrender to police. But instead, he disappeared. Soon after, a white Ford Bronco was spotted. Inside, O.J. Simpson. What followed was one of the most surreal events in history. A slow-speed police chase, broadcast live on television. Millions of people stopped everything to watch. Highways were empty. People gathered around TVS. The entire country was watching one man run from the law. Inside the car, O.J. was reportedly emotional, possibly armed. For hours, the chase continued. Finally, he returned home and surrendered. This moment alone turned the case into a global phenomenon. The trial of the century begins. In 1995, The trial officially began, and it wasn't just any trial. It became known as the trial of the century. The courtroom became a battlefield. On one side, the prosecution. On the other, a powerful defense team, nicknamed the Dream Team. They were some of the best lawyers in the country. Their mission wasn't just to defend O.J. It was to create doubt. The prosecution's case. The prosecution believed they had overwhelming evidence. They presented DNA linking O.J. to the crime scene, blood evidence, the infamous glove, a timeline of events. They argued this was a clear case of jealousy and rage. A former husband, unable to accept the end of a relationship. But the defense had other plans. The defense strategy. The defense team shifted the entire narrative. Instead of just arguing innocence, they attacked the system itself. They claimed evidence was mishandled. Police were incompetent. Racism influenced the investigation. One key figure became central to this argument, a detective accused of racist behavior. The defense used this to plant doubt. And in criminal law, doubt is everything. The glove that changed everything. Then came the moment that would define the trial forever. The glove found at the crime scene. The prosecution asked O.J. to try it on. The entire courtroom watched. Millions watched at home. Then, the glove didn't fit. At least, it appeared that way. That single moment created massive doubt, and the defense delivered a line that would go down in history. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. The verdict, October 3rd, 1995. The world stopped. People gathered around televisions, waiting. The jury had reached a decision. After months of testimony, the verdict was announced. Not guilty. Shockwaves spread across the country. Some people celebrated. Others were outraged. The nation was divided. A nation divided. The reaction was unlike anything ever seen. It wasn't just about the case anymore. It became about race, justiça, power, celebrity. Different communities reacted differently. Debates erupted everywhere. Was this justice? Or a failure of the system? This se viu quase. Even though S.G.J. sits in criminal court, the story didn't end. A civil lawsuit followed. In 1997, he was found responsible for the deaths and ordered to pay millions in damages. This raised even more questions. How could one court say not guilty and another say he was responsible? The legacy of the case. Even decades later, this case remains one of the most discussed in history. It changed how trials are covered by media, how lawyers present cases, how the public views justice. It also showed the power of narrative. Because sometimes it's not just about evidence. It's about what people believe. So what really happened that night? Was O.J. Simpson guilty? Or was he the victim of a flawed investigation? There is no simple answer. And maybe there never will be. But one thing is certain. This case will never be forgotten. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like, subscribe, and share, because there are many more untold stories waiting to be revealed.